Hey everyone, this is Jacob here with Alibi. Today we're going to make some quick and easy stovetop boiled shrimp. And I'm even going to teach you how to make them peel easy. Let's get to it, all. Guys, you can head on over to alibayou.com to get the full recipe and the full list of ingredients. So one of the first things you want to do when you're doing stovetop boiled shrimp is have you two pots. And the reason for that is one pot is for the shrimp, the other pot here is for your vegetables, corn, potatoes, and sausage. And the reason I like to do that is because you want the shrimp to get the most flavor when you're boiling them. And the only way to achieve that is by boiling them alone in the seasoning. When you boil everything in one pot, everything has multiple different cooking times, and you get not a good shrimp. What happens is the potatoes soak up most of the seasoning, the corn soak up most of the seasoning, and you're ending up with some bland shrimp. So I find it easier to boil them in two separate pots. Guys, be sure to go to alibayou.com to get the full recipe and go check out our Etsy store for some awesome Alibayou gear. As long as you will let me. Well, guys, when I'm boiling my shrimp, whether on the stovetop or I'm hosting a bigger boil, I blow people's mind because I boil mine in pristine, clear water. Not a drop of seasoning or salt goes into the pot while my shrimp are cooking. So now it's time to boil our shrimp. We got our water here to a boil. And so what we're going to do is, I like to add stuff to the pot that enhances the flavor of the shrimp. So corn and potatoes take away from the flavor of the shrimp because they absorb most of the seasoning. But things like mushrooms, onions, they actually give flavor to the shrimp in the pot. So we're going to go in with our onions first. So let's add these to the pot. Well, guys, now that our water is boiling, we added the onions to the water. We're going to go ahead and go in with our shrimp. You want to get your shrimp, dump them in. Like I said, no seasoning in the water. And then as soon as I dump them in, I'm going to explain exactly why. There's not salt, pepper, nothing in the water. It's just clear, regular water is what we're boiling our shrimp in. So once you dump them right there in the pot, what you want to do is bring your water back to a boil. If you're operating on this little tabletop 110 burner here, it's going to take it a minute, but this is the same concept for the stove. You bring your water back to a boil, and you're not going to add any seasoning until they're done cooking. And the reason we do that, guys, is because they're going to peel immaculate. You can take the smallest shrimp from an 800 to a U12, and they'll be able to peel just as easy. And this is a secret that was taught to me by my grandfather, and then that was taught to him by his father. And so the reason we do this is because you got to think of it scientifically. What happens to particles when you heat them up? They're bouncing around, going all over the place. What happens to particles when you cool them down? They condense. And so what happens is the salt specifically gets between the seasoning and the shell, and it causes it to stick. So that's why a lot of people don't like boiling smaller shrimp. But the shrimp we use here today were fresh caught Mobile Bay Browns. They're some of the sweetest shrimp you can get, and they'll kill just easy. And when you eat them, they're sweet like candy. They're some of the finest shrimps you can imagine eating. And the way I'm teaching y'all how to boil them, you'll be able to peel them just as easy as the big. Well, guys, now that we got our vegetable pot here with a rolling bowl, we're going to go in with our baby new red potatoes. Let's put these suckers right in the pot. All right, guys. Well, now our potatoes are finally done, and so what we're going to do here is get them out of the water. I like to use these aluminum sheet pans. I find these come in handy. And one way to do to cast your potatoes is stick them with the fork. Some say let them slide off easy, but see these have a good firm. You can feel them squish all the way around, so you know they're good and done. So go ahead and take these out of the pot here. Just go ahead and line that pan. So now that we got all our potatoes, what we're going to do now is hit them a little bit with some Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning. And we're going to hit them with a little butter. Sprinkle on that. So the Slap Your Mama here is not as concentrate as the seafood royal powder. So you're not ending up with potatoes that are just too hot to eat. That's a common mistake many people make at their first attempt when boiling shrimp, is that the potatoes get all the heat and none of the, all the flavor, while everything else is sort of just bland and tasteless. So what we do is we boil our potatoes in a separate pot from the shrimp, and that way we just put a dash of seafood boil in there just to give them a little kick. And then when they come out, we hit them with that slap your mama, and we're going to hit them with the butter. Guys, now that our potatoes are done boiling, we're going to go in with our corn. We got fresh struck corn here, but the same concept goes for frozen too as well. So what we're going to do is take our corn and add it here to the pot. The corn doesn't take as long as the potatoes. Just get them in there good and steamed. Typically, you want to boil them for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then you cut off the heat and let them soak about another 4 minutes. You're going to end up with some delicious corn. Guys, we got the corn in there. So what we can do next is go ahead and add our sausage. We're adding in some Connecticut roast sausage. This is the finest sausage this side of the Mississippi, on the east side or the west side, wherever you go in this country. This sausage right here is made right here in Connecticut County, Alabama. And it's some of the finest sausage you can use for any of your seafood boil. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and add it in the pot with the corn. They got about the same cooking time, so let's go ahead and drop these suckers in there. And I'm going to leave a link in the description, guys. That way y'all can pick up some of this fantastic sausage. They sell it across the southeast, but unfortunately, if you're not down in our neck of the woods, you won't be able to get it. But like I said, check the link in the description. You can place an order and connect a sausage and be happy to take care of it. So you go ahead, just get them out of the water there. And another good reason why you want to keep your corn and potatoes things separated from boiling them all in the same pot is ease of access. A lot of people complain that it's aggravating to pick out a piece of corn or pick out a piece of potato when it's buried under a heaping mound of boiled shrimp. What I like to do next is go with a little butter here. Just get you a couple squares, rub it all over that corn there, and then just give it a little sprinkle here of some slap your mama. Let me show you what you're looking for here in the pot to show that your shrimp are done boiling. So look at these shrimp. See right there how the back of the shell is separating from the meat? That is showing you that your shrimp is done and that they're going to be easy to peel right there. See that? So what we're going to do is a little trick that I learned, and this is what we talked about earlier, that for the shrimp to get the best seasoning, it's the rapid cooling sensation. So y'all come here and check this out. So before we add any seasoning to the shrimp, what I did here is I filled this sink up with some nice cold water. I'm going to set the pot there, still haven't added any seasoning. And so this is going to give it the shrimp an instant cooling sensation. And so when we add our seasoning, they're going to absorb it instantly. So you go in with your seafood boil. You want to go in with about a cup and a half. And so what I like to do is go in there real good with it. And I like to give it a little extra salt. I'll go in about with a half a cup of salt there. So shrimp are a little different than crawfish. Crawfish take about 30 minutes, 25 minutes to soak. Shrimp is about 5 minutes. So you go in, you give a good stir. But what I tell people is set your timer at 2.5 minutes. Give them a little taste test. If they need a little bit more spice, hit them with your seafood boil. If they need a little bit more salt, hit them with some more salt. Letting them soak longer is not a problem either. The longer the soak, the more they're going to absorb that seasoning. So if you go a little easy on the seasoning, you can just increase the soak time. Now the shrimp we have here are Mobile Bay brownies. They're small in size, but pack a sweet, delicious flavor. Well, guys, there you have it. That's our easy stovetop boiled shrimp recipe. Check how easy these guys peel out right here. You're going to impress anybody when you follow this recipe. That's some fine stuff. So go ahead and follow us on all our social media platforms. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up on that video. hit that subscribe button, and be sure to check out islabayou.com. We got a plethora of different seafood recipes, including the complete guide on how to boil shrimp. And then give us a like and go check out our Etsy store for all your Isla Bayou gear.